everyone, welcome back. Hope you all had a good weekend. Just want to remind everyone that I do have some good discount links down below in the description. So head over there, shoes, clothes, kids, home, all kinds of cool stuff for summer especially. I want to go ahead and talk about Transformers Rise of the Beast today. It is the latest movie that I've watched and I just want to give my thoughts on it. I probably will get into a spoiler later on in the video, but I will give a warning before I get into that spoiler. All right, so of course this is the latest installment of the Transformers franchise, and there's been a lot of these movies over the years. Overall, the action and the visual effects and all of that stuff, I think has remained pretty consistent throughout all of the films. Like, I think to me they've always looked amazing visually, and the CGI, the visual effects, I just think they've always done a great job on that aspect of the movies, and I think that that has remained, including in Rise of the Beast. But as far as like the lead characters and the story, that kind of fell off for me after the last one that Shia LaBeouf was in. However, I do think they're still entertaining to watch, and I know that the human aspect and the human characters is kind of, it's usually where people are a little nitpicky about the Transformers live action films. And I think I understand, like I said, like in the ones with Mark Wahlberg, that was kind of my gripe with the movies. And in this one, that's also some of my gripes with Rise of the Beast. Overall, I think it was a pretty good movie. This one does take place in the past, similar to the Bumblebee movie, which I like the Bumblebee movie as well. I think that one's cute. I think they felt like they kind of had to start doing something different since they continued to make the movies, after 4 or 5. They're still making these movies. You got to do, something different. The male lead character, Noah, I thought he did pretty good. I forget the actor's name, but I thought he carried the role pretty well most of the time, like as far as performance and whatnot. But the female lead, Elena, I wasn't crazy about her character or the performance. I felt like her character wasn't really necessary to the story. Like, she's the historian, the history buff, the person that knows all of these things that are helping them get to the artifact that they need, right, in the story. And it makes things somewhat convenient because she knows all of these things, right? All of these facts about history, and like they kind of try to integrate that into the story to make it seem like, oh, this is why she is the way she is, or this is how she knows that. Like, she works at the museum that the artifact is found at. Oh, it's cool that they make her knowledgeable and smart. That's cool. But I just felt like she wasn't really necessary for the story. There were dialogue and interactions between her and Noah that were like weird and just not great. You know what I mean? Like, there were a couple of scenes of dialogue between the two that you could have just completely taken out of the movie and it wouldn't have changed the film at all, and it wasn't necessary for any part of the story. And like, they could have just used that screen time to more for the Transformers, you know what I mean? And I think they were trying to establish some kind of chemistry, a romance between the two characters, and it just wasn't there. It's kind of forced, and it was some of the dialogue that like I said with them two, it was just, I don't know, some of that was off for me. Mirage was a new Transformer character that was introduced in this movie, voiced by Pete Davidson. I think some people might be annoyed with him as the voice for that. I thought it was a pretty good match for the character Mirage. Like, he was entertaining, cool character, like as far as his abilities and what he could do as a Autobot. Those aspects of these movies are always cool and they're always entertaining. Maximus Transformers, they're awesome and they look cool and they sound cool and they're like, you know what I mean? I like them a lot. I think that was an interesting aspect to bring into live action that we haven't really had before. There have been dinosaurs in the past, or like different creatures. So there were some new aspects of the Transformers lore that were brought into this movie. So that's a way to keep it a little bit more interesting. Then there's parts, like there's things going on in the movie that you're like, how is this not noticeable by the, you know what I mean? Things are happening that like should be, I don't know. So I guess it's kind of a weird nitpick, it's kind of a weird gripe, but some stuff is just like almost as if humans weren't noticing them, except for the main characters in some parts of the movie. Some parts they kind of show from humans, like the world's point of view, what's going on, but it's brief, and then they kind of address it at the end. But you just don't really see it, I guess, as much during the movie, that like the world is noticing what's going on. Now, another thing that some people say about these movies is that the action in the third act in particular are like over the top and too much and too long and too much is going on. You know, there's a lot going on. There are some cool things, though. I think it's always like interesting, you know, like the fight sequences and just like everything, like there, you always expect it's always going to be on like a grand scale, right? Okay, I think I might get into spoiler territory now that I'm talking about the third act. So, spoiler warnings ahead if you have not seen Rise of the Beast. Okay, so another new thing that was introduced in this movie that we haven't seen before is Mirage gives Noah a suit, like Autobot tech suit. And somehow, I mean, I guess this part was, some things about that were a little over the top. Not the suit itself, or that he had one. That's cool because you know, we haven't seen that before in a live action Transformers movie. So that was cool. But I thought it was a little ridiculous that he thought he was going to take on the main villain, Scourge? And Optimus was having a hard time fighting the main villain because he's so overpowered because of, you know, he's being powered by Unicron, and like that's a little, like that was a little ridiculous. This human is not going to, just because he has an Autobot technology suit, like that's a stretch, you know. But I mean, they wanted to give him like his moment, you know. Okay, I think the big reveal at the end of the film was when Noah, the lead character, he's still looking for a job, you know, throughout the movie, and then at the end he's still looking for a job and security jobs. He goes to what he thinks is an interview, but it ends up being, you know, a secret sect of the government dealing with planetary security, and ends up being revealed as G.I. Joe. So it looks like they are combining universes, and I guess maybe that's where it's going to lead, you know, if they continue making these movies. That was totally unexpected for me. I didn't expect anything like that. So I wonder where that's going to go, and how they're going to bring those two together. So overall, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I felt like the first three movies with Shia LaBeouf and the human characters in those movies are still superior. Pretty decent movie though. Like I said, I like the Primals, the Beast, the Maximus Transformers. Not amazing, not bad. You know, it was pretty good. The Transformers characters in all these movies, they're always, I think, always do a good job with them. So let me know your guys' thoughts if you watched Transformers Rise of the Beast. Of course, the next big movie that we're all going to be talking about is The Flash. Comes out in just a few days. I'll be watching it Thursday evening, and Saturday is To Doom, the Netflix event, which I'm looking forward to hearing more about Rebel Moon and seeing if there's a teaser. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the support on the channel. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.